Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of the United People's Podcast. It's me, it's Dan, it's Nick, and we're still chirpy. We're still 21 is good. No, 21's not coming, but Brighton's coming. We're going to be previewing the Brighton game in this pod. We're going to be speaking about, well, plenty of other topics around United this week. We'll speak about Ligt. Is he captain material? I can't think he always was. Anyway, we'll speak about that. We'll speak about the Brighton game. We'll speak about sort of our predictions, ones to watch. We'll speak about the Champions League. Should be a good pod. Dan and Nick, how you lads doing? Dan, I'll throw to you first.
Still ecstatic from the weekend, to be honest. I keep seeing videos online of that Maguire goal, and every time I get it, I just keep getting hyped. Like, someone needs to take my phone off me because I'm just getting too excited.
Nah, I guarantee you'll glue to your phone when the misery is there, so you can enjoy it when there's actually a decent reason to look at your phone. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, same. You know what's funny? Whenever we win a game, I'll always do like a cycle of watching the highlights. Like I'll do the initial like 2-3 minute Sky Sports one, and then I'll do like an extended one, and then I might do like a BBC match of day one to see what they say as well. So I try like squeeze as much out of it as I can, and this is a big one, so I have squeezed as much of it as I can.
Mate, I've enjoyed the memes. I've enjoyed watching every single bit of Fallout, and then fingers crossed by the time this pod goes out, Liverpool lost to one-track Frankfurt, and it's 5 in a row. You never know. You never know. Who cares about what? Anyway, let's focus on United. But I want to quickly say at the start of the pod, we're still waiting for all of you guys and girls to get involved in the pod. Don't awkwardly just leave it empty, man, for fuck's sake, right? Send your emails in to podcast@UnitedPeoplesTV with questions for me, Dan and Nick, and we'll try and answer them. Well, we won't try and answer them. We actually will answer them. That's the whole point of it. And also, I've actually got the number of the pod now. So you can message in your voice notes on WhatsApp to 07471 962 384, and then we'll bring your voice notes into the pod. But yeah, this week we'll speak about Brighton in probably about 15-20 minutes or so. Isn't it? I know I keep going on about this, right? They've still not fucking released the gantry footage of Jamie Carragher losing his marbles. I mean, that can't be. I know it's like red tinted specs and all that, but I watched all those humiliations and every single goal that United conceded against Liverpool. I know what Gary Neville looked like because I saw like it from 6 angles. Do you reckon it? Bastards, Dan. This is red tinted specs, but I swear they're doing this on purpose.
No, I said it a couple of weeks ago, or last week. Yeah, last week, and it was United just get kicked in the balls by the media constantly. And them not showing this it just goes into that. It's a bit like what the Athletic have done recently. It all seems like a bit of a narrative towards United. And
you've mentioned the Athletic there. Like Nick, have you seen all the stuff that's sort of been said this week? Like, what's your take on all of that?
It's weird, right? Because all right, so the first thing I'll say is when it comes to the United journalists, I've never felt that, and I don't think we will ever really see that from the likes of Andy Mitten, Laurie Whitwell, Carl Anka. I don't think they are the ones to ever sort of try to sell sensationalism, titles, etc. But now that it has been spoken about, I have started noticing it recently. And one thing that I thought of on this topic was that about a year and a half ago, basically every Friday, well, I think they still do it, the Athletic drop a preview for the weekend, talking about the weekend games coming up. Every Friday, more or less, I would listen to that pod. And the more and more it went off, it just felt a little bit like we were always a bit of a target, a bit of a topic for them to have a laugh at. Now, granted, we've been bad in that time. Yes, so, okay, I get it. But it felt a little bit just, like I said, targeted at times. But the United correspondents, though, I trust their word and everything they say, for me, has never been problematic.
Yeah, I think, I just don't know whether I've been punched so many times as a United fan that I'm just hypersensitive to this sort of shit, Dan, or whether it actually is. I think we've mentioned this in previous pods as well. Like whether there actually is like an extra microscope. I mean, we already know there is an extra microscope of attention for United, but like, what's your take on it? Is it the fact that we're so we've been bullied so much that everything stings, or is there really genuinely still this bias that sort of ripples through the media?
I think there's a little bit of a bias. You look at the Athletics videos, especially the YouTube videos, and the success. You look at the view counts on most of them. And they did one on Are Manchester United as bad as people think? And I think that's got over 350k views. You look at the video next to it, that's got about 80k views. There's a big comparison. And in that video, they were going on about how United have got the third best XG in the Prem with 1.64, but JJ Bull, who was leading on it, said that it's so high not because of the quality, but because of how many shots United have taken.
Yeah, but I think what the point there was okay. So he was basically saying they're just taking shots from anywhere and everywhere, which is why XG was high. But actually, no, because XG would only be high if those chances that you've taken the shots from are likely chances to go in. Yeah, decent places to shoot from. So yeah, I see it. And that was a little bit disappointing, I think, because he's someone who, like, I've listened to the TFL podcast quite a bit, and I've never really felt that he's had a particular bias against us. Same with the likes of John McKenzie, who's also on there. So that video in itself was a little bit disappointing. But I think there's no question that when it comes to United, you simply get more clicks and more views when you cover topics like this. I've worked in a few different companies and media companies and I felt that, I get that whenever there is a reason to jump on United, they'll go for it because they know it leads to clicks.
Do you reckon it's like more of a top down thing, like rather than like, for want of, just say JJ Ball or John McKenzie, it's more like not instructions from the top, but it's sort of like, hey, have you thought about, this could be a good idea and a good angle.
Absolutely. One thing in that industry in general is that, so you'll obviously get the journalists who have their names and their faces at the top of each article. What we never see is who is the sub-editor of the article, because whoever their editor is or sub-editor, they have a big say in how it goes out, what the title is going to be, what the picture is going to be, and they also have the power to change things around a little bit while keeping the same theme of the article. So, and we don't hear about that. We don't see their faces. We don't know their names. So they have a lot of power as well in those scenarios. So yeah, it is also top down. You're right.
Look, right. Let's move on. Let's talk about Ligt for a little bit, because I think just kind of quietly this season he's been pretty damn consistent. Dan, what's your take? I think he gave a massive interview with, I think it might be Jason Burt, ahead of the Liverpool game. It was a really in-depth, sat down. He was talking. There was a really curious part of that interview, actually, where he said that he was asked about, do you stay away from social media? Do you stay away, just ignore everything? You know, how that's kind of how we feed as fans. Lads, just block yourself off, ignore it, and just focus on the game. Which is kind of a little bit like how Senny Lamons talks about how he does it. But De Ligt was like, it's kind of the part of football I find a bit fun. Like, I like to look at it. He probably likes the memes. He probably likes looking at it from a fan perspective, which is all good and well until you're on the wrong side of it. But from De Ligt's perspective, I think he's our best central centre-back at the club right now. That Maguire is right up there as far as United fans go. But across the course of the season, I want De Ligt to start in the centre more games in the Premier League than I do Maguire. Like, do you see De Ligt as future captain material, Dan? He said that he's coming into his prime. He feels as strong as ever. Like, what do you see the next few years panning out like for him?
I think he could be, especially if Bruno leaves possibly at the end of this season, which I feel like it could happen. Maybe it could be proven wrong. Maybe it could be next season. But I feel like there's a burning fire within De Ligt that he feels like he needs to prove himself. You look at what he did at Ajax when he was the youngest ever captain at 18. So went to Juve, didn't prove himself there. And then he went to Bayern, obviously same situation happened. And now he's come to United, another big club, in probably what he sees as his final attempt to make something of his career. And he's certainly doing that at the moment. I think the way he comes across in interviews as well, I think he gave an interview to Premier League Productions after the game against Liverpool. He just comes across so calm and looks like he's a big figure in the dressing room. I don't understand, though, why has he not been put in the leadership team that Amorim's created? Because he seems like such a leader.
It's an interesting one. Like, it's mad you're saying that, this feels like it's going to be his last chance. Like, fucking, that dude's he's still 26. You know how mad that is? Like, he's played for arguably the four biggest clubs in, well, no, Ajax is the biggest club. Juve, you can have arguments about, and Bayern Munich is. So pretty much it's three of the four biggest clubs in those respective countries. And whoever you think is the biggest club in Italy, that's up to you. But, like, De Ligt, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing this season. He seems more focused. Like, how do you see it going? Like, I suppose the question I'm really asking is, do you think United are going to be going out and signing a central centre-back that's going to be stepping ahead of De Ligt in the pecking order either next summer or the summer after?
Only if everywhere else is pretty set. He's one of those where say if we get to a place where in 2-3 years time we're competing for the title and we feel like we need a centre back with a higher ceiling than the Ligt. Maybe then you go and do it. But as for now, it's for me at least it's not even a thought. He doesn't need replacing at any point in the near future. Does he have some downsides? I think so. I don't think he's the most mobile player that Amorim would like to have in that position. This constant problem we have with the midfield being empty and there being so many gaps. A lot of that could be resolved with a centre back who is a bit more comfortable stepping out into midfield, almost so you have a back four and he steps out and is your sort of number 6 at times. I think we saw a little bit of that at Sporting, and I think in the Premier League that could help for sure. So he's not, I wouldn't say perfect for the role, but he's pretty damn good. And you said there he's 26. He's not even into the prime of what a centre back really is.
26 still. Right. So question quickly to end that, right? If you're going out in the summer, I think we're probably going to sign a defender in the summer, right? Are you going? What position are you going to focus on? Like, are you going to focus on a wing back? Are you going to focus on a wide centre back, or are you going to focus on a central centre back? If they're like the 3 options, I think you kind of got. What would you go for, Dan? What would you say is a priority out of those defensive positions?
I'd probably say the left centre back because, well, everyone knows our opinions on Shaw. Martinez, the injuries are catching up to him, and it seems every single season it's just getting even worse.
There is a chance that happens, right? I know it's probably unlikely given he's basically missed like 18 months, 2 years with 2 mega injuries, but I hope he comes back and he's the bollocks because I love him. I've got such a soft spot for him. Remember when he came in under Ten Hag, like it was so easy to despise like every player because you could see they didn't give a fuck. And then Martinez came in and it looked like he was fighting for his family. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm in. I'm all in. It was just easy to get persuaded by Martinez, and I hope he's fit. But you're saying left centre back, Nick. You agreed?
That's tough. I might go right, only because I like what I've seen from Aiden Heaven so far, who of course can play on that left. And actually, a few cameos we saw of Lenny Yoro playing on that left, specifically when he was on the ball driving forward into central midfield, was really nice. So I do think there is a world where Yoro could make something out of being left centre back. So I might go right centre back, but ideally a centre back can play both. Really, a wide centre back can play both.
Yeah, I think I agree on that. Like Champions League, obviously is happening this week. We're not involved. Boo, hiss. Anyway, so Newcastle, City, and Arsenal all won this week, and I think right now the Premier League is topping the list to get 5th place. It's like you're looking at the league right now. It is because it's early in the season, right? A win can swing things. We're 1 point off the top 6. We're, I think, 3 points behind. Is it 3 behind Liverpool now? Is it 2 behind Liverpool?
2 behind.
2 behind Liverpool.
And then 3 behind City.
Lucky name, mate. It is all to play for. Like, top 5, it's got to be the ambition now. Like, just yes or no, right, Dan? Like, do you think we're playing Champions League football next year? Like, how do you think the rest of the season is going to pan out?
See, I spoke about optimism the other week, and it's saying, we're going to scrape him. We're going to scrape him. But I reckon United. I don't think United will get Champions League football, but I think they'll get Europa League football. I reckon they could finish 6th.
Yeah, I want to say we can get 5th. I really do, because I think start of the season, I think we all thought the top 4 was pretty locked in with the 3 that are there and Chelsea. Chelsea look, and I thought they would look like this, but they just look a little bit up and down. I still expect them to get into that top 4. But Tottenham, I'm not too sure about. Start of the season, it looked really good on the Thomas Frank, and then they've just fallen off a little bit. That performance against Aston Villa at home was really not great, and that's a Villa side in trouble a little bit. So I do think they're in 5th place. You might be able to get in there, but look, it's all ifs and buts. If we go and lose against Brighton, then it's no good. We need to start beating mid-table teams. We've shown that we can beat promoted / relegation battle sides. We've proven we can beat the top of the table. We just need to start winning against the Bournemouths, the West Hams, the Brightons. That's where we're going to make or break getting top 5, I think.
Great segue there, walking into Brighton. Nick, you're a pro. Right, Brighton. Brighton have had a bit of a mixed bag this season. As far as bogey teams go, I think, Dan, you mentioned this last time. We've had some stinkers against Brighton. Was it the first game of the season under Ten Hag?
Yeah.
Was it last game of the season under Ten Hag as well? Or was it? No, we won that one. We had like
we did.
Yeah, we had a shitter all season and we ended up winning at Brighton, I think.
in our last 10, we've beaten Brighton 4 times.
4.
And there's not been a draw in this fixture since 1992.
There you go. Right, get your money down. It's going to be a draw.
And have a guess who made their debut in that game?
1992.
Yeah.
Ooh.
League Cup, second round.
Ryan Giggs.
No.
Lee Sharp.
No.
Gives a clue.
Is it class of 92?
Yes.
Right. So we've said, all right,
Well, it's Beckham.
it's
isn't it?
maybe a Beckham or a Gary Neville or Phil Neville.
Lock in your
Or
answers now. Lock in your answers.
Gary Neville.
Scholes.
But it was Beckham.
Oh, it was Beckham. Oh, you
Yeah.
bastard.
Did it? But I think he debuted in 92, but I don't think he became a prominent part of the first team for a few years later on. Like, I think, didn't he go on loan a few times,
Yeah,
right?
he was only 17 at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
He went to Preston on loan, yeah.
Oh, that was going to be my extra point, son. Where did he go on loan? But he's already ruined it. Well done, Dan.
Ah.
Oh, sorry.
Right, anyway, back to now. Look, Brighton. They've had a mixed bag this season. I think there's going to be a lot of spotlight on Carlos Baleba, and I think we should probably have a little chat about him because we're going to be dropping a video on Thursday. We've taken a look at every performance of his this season so far. It's fair to say he didn't just have his head turned by United. He changed his bed sheets to United bed sheets. He changed his alarm to Glory Glory Man United. He was walking around. He was as far as he was concerned, he was going to join United because his head's not been there the whole season. To be fair to Fabian Herzler, he's actually been very patient with him, sort of saying that I think Baleba's 21 now. I think thereabouts. He's still quite young as far as players go. He's like football players, especially young players, aren't linear in their development. I think he's given him a little bit of leeway. His best performance actually probably came in their most recent game. I think it was against Newcastle. They lost 2-1, but I think he played 70 minutes and got taken off. But what's your take, Dan? Do you see these performances from Baleba as red flags? We can't sign him now. What do you think is a fair price for him as well?
I'd probably say a fair price for Baleba. I mean, the way that he started the season, like you just mentioned then, I reckon United could go and get him for about 70 million, 75 million. I know Brighton will want a lot more than that, but they can sort of use that against him and against Brighton, the way he started the season. But then I also think if it has got in his head so early, imagine when he comes to United and starts playing, if he does come. If he can't handle it now whilst he's not at United, when he comes to the club, how's he actually going to handle the pressure of being a United player if there's so much pressure already on him or so much talk around him? Which makes me think him or Wharton maybe. Does Wharton have more of a say now? I don't know. That's just where I'm currently at.
So you think 70, 75? I do think United have... This is what United wanted, right? So we wanted to get in his head. We wanted to mess him up a little bit. And it's kind of you could argue it's a bit of an arsehole tactic, but it's kind of business. In fact, it is a bit of an arsehole tactic. I suppose if Brighton didn't overprice him so much in the summer, and their price then would have been 70, 75, we might have signed him, but we weren't going to pay 100. Nick, where do you stand on him? Because I've seen a lot of United fans going, nah, man, now he's overpriced compared to what he was. We've kind of seen it this season. We should look elsewhere.
I still want to see how the rest of the season unfolds and how he goes on to play throughout the rest of the season. Because actually, how much we haven't actually seen all that much from him in the Premier League yet, right? He hasn't been at Brighton for all that long. So I do want to see a little bit more of him. Even at the time where we were linked to Baleba, I was more in the Wharton camp simply because I just like the fact that Wharton gives you a lot more on the ball. And maybe this is just a personal preference, but I always love ball playing midfielders. And I just feel like while I understand that Carlos Baleba gives you that physicality and he can cover grass a lot better than Wharton, there's just something about Wharton that I really like, that I would like to go for him. So he'd be my preference. But on Brighton in general, though, I really hate that we're playing them right now. If I'm being honest, any other team I would have had, because I feel like we're building a bit of momentum now. And Brighton, not just because of recent history, but what they're good at is what we're bad at. They flood the midfield. They play really vertical, direct passes from centre backs into Rutter, for example, who plays in number 10. I could see them causing us a lot of issues. So I do think we're gonna have to. There's got to be compromise again from Ruben Amorim in this game because I'm worried about Brighton.
Do you know one thing I really remember Brighton doing? I think it was when De Zerbi was manager. I think it was in like the first 10 minutes or so at Old Trafford. We had them pinned in their own box. And then, I can't remember who that, I think it was De Zerbi. All of a sudden, their centre-backs really split wide. And then Ten Hag was like, fuck, what am I supposed to do here? And then we couldn't get the ball off them for the rest of the game. And they just played it around us.
Yeah, it was the game where Højlund and Rashford played as split strikers, and they were instructed to basically press the life out of their two centre-backs. And De Zerbi went, right, all right, you want to press our centre-backs? They'll go wide as anything, and we'll create a load of space in midfield. Bosh.
I don't, like, you mentioned it there, like, we've really kind of dropped the press against Liverpool, and I think that helped us. Like, Dan, would you expect us to be, I suppose, how do you expect us to approach the game? Because there's different ways you could do it. Like, it's United at Old Trafford. Are we going to go in there all guns blazing, or are we going to maybe be a little bit of passive in that sense?
I think first 5 to 10 will go all guns blazing. I feel like Amorim's wanted to do that, especially at home this season. And the fans, when I've been sat in the stadium, the fans believe it as well. We believe that we can get a goal in that first 10 minutes, the amount of pressure that we do put the opposition under. So against Brighton, it is a possibility. But then the quality that Brighton have when they do play out from the back, that's a major factor, like Nick said, that we have to consider, especially in that first 10 minutes, because they could put 1 or 2 past us. So maybe the first 5 go at them and then stay a little bit reserved. But I don't think a low block, a 5-4-1 at home, does any good for anyone, really.
I don't think Amorim could ever really get away properly with a 5-4-1 at Old Trafford. Not for a full 90 minutes at home. Not even if you're playing Liverpool, really. I just don't think Old Trafford would really allow it. Obviously, I'd say it's obvious. There's 2 players I think you could question whether they're coming back in. Šeško and Yoro, right? Neither of them started against Liverpool. Nick, are you starting either or both of them?
So with Šeško, I think I don't think this is a game where you can drop Mason Mount because, like I said earlier, I think they're going to flood the midfield, and I think in that scenario, you really need Mason Mount to tuck in and basically just be a third man in that midfield. So then I think anyway, then it's a shootout between Cunha and Šeško, and Cunha was so good against Liverpool. And not just against Liverpool, in games earlier this season against Fulham, he's been really good. So I think I wouldn't bring back Šeško for this one. Also because Brighton aren't the most physical side, and so in set pieces as such, I think we can be all right without a Šeško, and I think Cunha could give us a bit more. So Šeško, no, for this one. I think Yoro, yes, I think so. I think Brighton are very mobile, they move the ball really quickly, and I think Yoro's agility and sort of pace and a sort of bursts of acceleration that Maguire doesn't have can help us a lot. So I would bring back Yoro, although it does feel harsh to drop Maguire after that, doesn't it? I know you just scored the winner against Liverpool Anfield, but sit this one out, lads.
But it's like what you're talking about here is like we haven't had conversations like this in a while as United fans. Like, what do you mean? We can actually have a logical conversation about leaving Šeško out without it being like World War III. It's just like you've actually got options. You've genuinely got some options. I think you kind of be foolish not to start Yoro because you got Minte and you got Mitoma. They're going to cause us all sorts of issues. They're going to probably try and attack those areas in particular as a consequence of that. Don't know whether that will be balls in behind or balls through the lines because Brighton can do a bit of both. But I would definitely start Yoro, probably push Ligt to the middle, and then left centre-back. Well, to be fair to Luke Shaw, he played well against Liverpool, so I can't slag him for that. But Dan, like, what's your take? Like, how do you think Šeško will be thinking about this? Like, I've scored 2 in 2. You dropped me for Liverpool. The tactic proved completely correct, so I don't really think he can say anything against that. And I don't think he'll be too pissed off anyway. He came on and he played quite well. He'll be itching to start this game against Brighton, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think so, especially with it being at home, as well. But I do think because of the age that he's at and the talks that he's had with Amorim prior coming into the club, I do think that he understands where he's at the moment and where Ineos and Christopher Favell see him progress into and what progression point he can get to. And I think him sitting out these types of games is probably good for him. He can see how the Prem is from in the stadium, viewing it, obviously watching it and seeing how quick the game is because he knows how quick it is from the 5 games that he's featured in. but it's important to watch it from the sideline as well. So I think that'll help him. And it's also a case of he knows that there's players who are Premier League proven in that team, like obviously Mount, Cunha and Mbeumo up top.
I think it's something that Amorim mentions as well, by the way. Like, if you look at the game against Liverpool, we scored the winner in the 83rd minute. If you look at football is nowadays, especially, most teams are making 5 subs a game. The second half of the game, the teams are very different, and it's just not like it was before, where a lot of times you could see the majority of the players finishing a game that they started. It's just not the case. So if Šeško or Cunha is left on the bench, they'll come on around about the 60-minute mark, and they'll get a massive influence on the game. Like, I'm coming at you both now with predictions, because this one's going to be quite a hard one to call, I think. And Nick, you mentioned it before, but lads, like, what fucking United is going to turn up here? Like, you've done the hard work, the hardest work, the game you've not won in nearly 10 years, right? You've now won 2 in a row under Ruben Amorim in the league. Well done, you've not done that before either. But then we're all looking at this because we're all scarred. Like, we're all naturally pessimistic United fans now. Even the most optimistic ones. And I'm looking at you, Dan. Right? We're all so scarred that part of the back of your mind, you're thinking, "No, I know what's coming here. I'm not allowed to enjoy this," because we've just not been allowed to enjoy momentum at any point, Nick. Do you reckon that changes on Saturday?
Oh man, that's a multifaceted question you've thrown at me there. Like I said earlier, it's just these mid-table teams that, like, I'm literally scarred by. Like, why am I haunted by Bournemouth? You want to know a funny story about Bournemouth, actually, right? So my mum is a massive United fan as well. Like, when we beat Liverpool the other day, she called me straight away. Like, she's a big United fan. So I was like, right, I have to take you to a game because, you haven't been to Old Trafford before. Book the tickets, go, raid in, as you do. It's Manchester. Get to the game. It's Bournemouth. We get spanked 3-0. Walk back like 15 minutes to the car, soaking wet, and drive back 3.5 hours. So that was absolutely mint. Cheers for that, lads.
Yeah. Cheers, Bournemouth. No wonder you hate Bournemouth.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Now we know why.
Scarred, literally. So yeah, do I think it changes? I think if it changes, it's going to change because Ruben Amorim has once again switched things up to play in a way which he ultimately, in the end, doesn't want to. So I don't think we should be playing out the back. We know how good Brighton's press is. They hurt Newcastle with their press literally last weekend. I'm not entirely sure that we should press Brighton too high. I think we should play a very boring mid-block, because if it gets us the 3 points, then it gets us the 3 points, and we keep this shit moving. We keep momentum moving. So, does it change? I hope so. I'm gonna be optimistic, and I'll say that off the back of a big Liverpool win, we'll get another one. Why not? We'll get another one, and Cunha winner. Why not? Throw that one out there after that good performance at Anfield.
Done. Well, what score, though? You didn't say the score.
It'll still be tight. I'll go 2-1.
2-1. I'll take that all season long. Danny, I'd like to think that Dan's now going to come and burst a bubble and actually predict that Brighton are going to win, just to balance the pod.
I'm gonna go 5-2. No, I'm not that optimistic, guys. I'm not that optimistic. I think this is going to be a 2-2. I'm going a little bit more reserved this week compared to last week, which is weird. But yeah, going a 2-2 because Brighton haven't kept a clean sheet so far this season, and I think they've averaged about a goal a game conceded. So they're definitely going to concede. I can tell you that for a fact. I'm hoping it's 2, but I think Cunha's got a big job. I reckon he's my one to watch for this week, which we can go around. Obviously, you guys can share yours as well, because Brighton, like Nick said, Brighton is so good at winning the ball in midfield, but Cunha can sort of counter that a bit like he did against Liverpool, where he can hold the players up and just run with the ball and drive with it and be successful and pass it on to other attackers who are bombing on forwards, whether that'll be your wing backs or Mbeumo. And you need, like I say, you need someone to take control, and he could run ragged Van Hecke and Lewis Dunk on Saturday if he wants to, and so can Mbeumo. I think that's the way it could go if long balls are played into the channels again and we win the second balls. Him and Bruno are going to be vital to unlocking that Brighton side, I think, on Saturday.
Mate, but like, if you look at the Liverpool game, obviously we played with the second ball strategy, and we didn't have any flick-ons or runs in behind. I think you see Mbeumo stretch the game against Brighton. I don't think you see the same thing employed, because surely you're isolating Lewis Dunk. and surely you're isolating Bruno balls over the top. Like, Dunk's he's got the turning circle of a dumper truck, man. Like he's Van Heggen. To be fair to him, he's got some pace. Am I thinking of the wrong one? Am I thinking of Van der Ven? Too many Dutchies up in here.
No. Well, Van Heck's definitely more mobile than Dunk for sure.
Yeah, well, that's not. I think I'm more mobile than Dunk. I can't run. And look, I think probably.
Yeah, but he's not rapid, but he's mobile. Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to choose Mbumo. It's no surprise. I think I said this in a live show, right? Mbumo, he's not pulling up trees. He's not doing anything that I've not seen him do before. But he's just continuing what he was doing at Brighton. And like, there's so few signings that we make where they look sick. Like Onana's the best example. Looks great at another club. Comes to United. Who the fuck is that? Like, who's this doppelganger? That is not who we signed. And Mbumo's just continuing what he did at Brentford. And he just looks like he's enjoying it. So he's probably going to be my one to watch. I think for this game, I'm just, like, you mentioned it there, Dan, like, get that goddamn early goal. Old Trafford, if you get one in the first 10, it changes the other 80. We don't do it anywhere near enough. We obviously got the goal in the first minute against Liverpool, and that was a big, big nerve settler, which helped us play significantly better afterwards as a consequence. It's like so many times we've seen Ruben Amorim there, like, flustered at the sidelines. What was it? Was it the Burnley game where we got the penalty? And he was just sitting there, like, feet up, like, are you taking the piss? Like, you're taking the piss out of me. Like, why do you maybe wait until the 97th minute for a penalty? Like, you kept me on edge. He's bored of doing that, and I'm being optimistic here. I'm going to say United are going to get that goal in the first 15, and we're going to win 3-1. All right, and Mbumo's my one to watch.
Well, we did get the early goal against Sunderland as well, right? That was like 6th, 7th minute.
Yeah.
Mason Mount.
Yeah.
So.
And Chelsea.
There we go.
And we won the game comfortably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say we won. I wouldn't say we won Chelsea comfortably in the end, but
Sunderland we did.
We'll take that. But look, I enjoyed that, lads. By the way, the community's been. They love you guys. Just I thought I'd let you know. Nick, they're big fans of you. Dan, they're big fans. I think they like you both more than me now. That didn't take very long.
Cheers, lads.
I'm getting you. It's gonna be a fucking. It's gonna be a coup d'etat going on from the pod. Take over from within. But look, if you did enjoy the pod, wherever you listen on Spotify or Apple, please do leave a 5-star review. Me, Dan, and Nick will be back after the game. Dan, you're going to the game, aren't you?
I'm going to the game. Are we meeting up?
Yeah, we are meeting up. Right, we're going to look forward to that. We better win. Please win. Come on, United. Anyway, we'll see you on Monday morning. Will be the next pod. And yeah, take it easy.